Okay, welcome everybody. We're live. I want to welcome my friend Travis Greenlee. Gosh, when did we meet? A couple of years ago online, and
I can't seem to hear you, my friend.
you can't hear me?
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Turn on your microphone. Still can't hear you. Oh, there we go.
How's that?
Much better. Hey, man.
Okay. Welcome, Travis.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here.
I'm getting a little echo from your side.
All right, how's that? A little better?
Yep, that's good.
Okay, perfect.
So we met, gosh, 3 years ago? I don't even remember. Online somewhere.
Yep. I know. Isn't it amazing how time, it just flies? I mean, it flies by on this internet thing, and being involved in this whole game has been quite a ride, hasn't it?
Yeah. Now I've noticed your pictures from Colorado, your mountain biking, your skiing. It's like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I love it. I feel so fortunate, to be able to live in it. Welcome everybody that's with us. It's awesome to have you here and awesome to be here. This actually is my first blab. So I'm like, Ted and I got on last night, we're rehearsing a little bit, like, how do what button do I push? What am I supposed to do to get this thing moving and rolling? But this is fun. This is exciting. I'm going to start doing more of these. This is pretty cool.
So first thing I'm going to do is tell a little bird over on the left side of your screen. Everybody tweet it out and post it on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get some more people going here.
Okay.
And welcome everybody that's joining us. And what Travis is going to do is kind of share his story. And I've worked with Travis in the past and a couple times.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And Ted, I just got to tell you, man, because I know a lot of people join us are your fans, your loyal fans as well. You kind of stand out to your list and others. It's just been so awesome to see your growth over the years in terms of what you've done with the business and, with your brand. I know you used to be much wider with your brand and you were doing all kinds of different things for different people, and then begin narrowing it down, and then really found your love around the whole LinkedIn thing and like just going deep on that. I mean, like your book and you're this and you're that. And so, man, I mean, you've played this thing at such a high level over the last several years, and it's been so exciting to watch. Because we sort of stalk each other, on Facebook. So of course I'm seeing all this stuff, and the people that you're hanging out with. I mean, Ryan Dice, a digital marketer, and I mean, I could give this whole list, but clearly you've got all your pictures with all like your leaders and stuff. I'm like, man, this guy gets around.
It only took 12 years to be an overnight sensation, No, thank you very much for that. And I've watched you too. And tell us your story about. You live in Colorado, you ski, you mountain bike, and you've got this great little business in the background.
Yep, I do, and it really is out of choice, And a little bit about my background. I live in Colorado, so I live in a little ski town called Steamboat Springs, about 3 hours or so from Denver. But we're actually known as Ski Town, USA. So we've produced more Olympic skiers have been trained and have come out of Steamboat Springs than anywhere in the world. So we're sort of proud of something like that, Ski Town, USA. So I get to live here and I get to ski every day. I average over 100 days a season, and because it's out of choice. And I think, Ted, I love the email that you sent out saying, a little bit about your story, how, you're 25 years at corporate, and, they wouldn't let you have casual conversations. And God, I can so relate to that because, before Steamboat and everything else, I was very similar to you. I worked for Merrill Lynch for many years out in Orange County. And talk about corporate and like hardcore and, quotas and, the pressure was just crazy. I was young, I was 20, 24, 25 years old at that point. So I had the energy and the whole thing. But one of the greatest lessons, I guess, or one of the greatest experience that I had of that was to be pushed that hard through corporate America, doing stuff that I just really didn't love. I wasn't like super passionate about it. It was like, I made great money, I had a nice lifestyle, I lived in Newport Beach, drove a convertible, all that stuff. But really, none of that really mattered. And I got to the point where I'm like saying, it's about the lifestyle, as you had mentioned, again, in your email, and talking about how it's just so powerful to be able to, if you want to work 12-hour days, you work 12-hour days, and then the next day you take off and you go to the beach. And you spend the middle of the day at the beach because you can. And so we're big into that, obviously. And what we call, our brand is lifestyle business, and helping people to build true lifestyle businesses that give them that flexibility and give them that freedom within their lives to call your own shots, bottom line.
Yeah.
So
I think we still put in the same amount of hours during the week, but it's when we want. I might work a Saturday morning,
right,
or take 3 days off.
Take a week off, take a vacation off, because you got your iPad with you. You can go out there and still put in an hour or two a day and into work, the things that we do. Maybe it's coaching or consulting or working with, I know you've got groups, you got all kinds of things going. So leveraging your time and then being able to use the technology that we have today to do it all. Stuff like this, Blab and video and, putting all that stuff together to be able to really get out there. So awesome, man. It's great to be here. So I'm pumped. I mean, it's been snowing outside. I mean, it's the fall changes so fast in Colorado. It'll be literally one day we're mountain biking. The next day it's like, oh, here it comes. And bam, we get 8 inches of snow and it just settles in. And like right now on my lawn, I got, I'm not going to see green grass again until May. That's for sure. Ski Mountain opens in less than 10 days. So we'll all be up there ripping it up. So, I'm pretty pumped.
So tell us about, after you moved to Colorado, you've had some real challenges you've overcome.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
Mm-hmm. All right. Exactly. My life up to this point sounds like a fairy tale, like, whoa, lifestyle business and all that. And it is. It's wonderful. But like probably a lot of people checking in and hanging out with us today, I have had my fair share of the shit. I mean, getting my ass handed to me on a platter. 15 years ago, I went through stage 4 melanoma through cancer, and scary time. I mean, I had surgeries and they took out my lymph nodes and I did the chemo, and, they gave me a 50% chance of living beyond 2 years. And it was a scary, scary time. Lost all my money, went bankrupt. So the business that I had wasn't, a business that you can build that is residual income and monthly stable stuff. Lost it all. Had to move in my parents' basement. So I go from living in Newport Beach in Orange County, working for Merrill Lynch as a financial advisor, driving the convertible, all that stuff, to just a few years later of living in my parents' basement, like ow.
Wow. Were you married at the time?
I was not. Nope. Fortunately, I was single at the time. So I went through that and then had my family around me and got through it. It was about a 7-month process of the surgeries. And again, the chemo, I'd go down to Denver for 4 days and they would blast me for 4 hours a day, just, catheter out here, just crush me. So by the end of the week, I was just crazy times. But the thing is, it sure you appreciate coming through the other side. When you're in it, and when you're down that low, I mean, really, it's like you really can't get any lower than that. I mean, yeah, you could lose all your money and fear and whatever it might be, but man, when you're beat up like that from a health perspective, you realize like I've been about as low as you can go, and it wasn't that bad. There were still some miracles out of it, and I made it through, and it just gives you this whole new appreciation, is what you and I are talking about, Ted, as far as lifestyle. Life short, so enjoy it now, not work your ass off for another 10 years and then hopefully one day you'll enjoy it. Build a lifestyle business so you can earn an exceptional income, and more importantly, have that freedom, have that lifestyle is where it's at, baby.
Yeah. So how did you start your current business, or did you have a business before that evolved into this business?
I did. Great question. It did. It sort of morphed or evolved. So it was back in when I was with Merrill Lynch. So back in the 90s in Orange County. And I was, number one, a couple of things, I was burning out. So I was like, I just, I can't do this ongoingly. I don't want to do this ongoingly. And that's when the internet began taking off. So I saw Charles Schwab and some of our competitors with their online trading and how they were communicating with people and how they were building lists. I'm like, there's something to this. And so I got in and started learning, and Corey Rudel and some of these like early guys, the pioneers of the industry back in the day, just got so fascinated with it. And at the same time, I remember reading in Success Magazine, I think either that or Entrepreneur, and they were showing people starting to work outside. And in fact, I remember the guy on his back deck, and it was just a beautiful mountain scene and the stream behind him there, and he had his little laptop, his little cell phone out, and like was building a business. from this like back deck outside. And meanwhile, I'm sitting in this office and stressful. And I'm like, dude, show me how to do that. I mean, this is possible. This is what's happening. And again, I was hooked. So I started connecting the two, the home-based boom, the internet marketing, and then teaching and training people how to do it. And then where we really evolved the last 4 and 5 years is not only the coaching and the training, how to build a successful lifestyle business, but then also having a team. And having a team that's been trained on this stuff so that they can do all the work and the implementation. And again, that's what Profit Group is. That's our current, venture that we're serving clients with.
Okay. Yeah, tell me more about Profit Groove. What you guys do?
It's cool. It's super cool. As the name implies, Profit Groove. It's what we do is we specialize in working with primarily service professionals, coaches, consultants, speakers, trainers, infopreneurs, guys like us, people like us that have a message, maybe we're coaching or consulting. We've got, masterminds. But to take the concept or to take the idea of what you have in mind to be able to have that lifestyle business. And again, to have a team that's been trained on, Infusionsoft and funnels and lead pages and ClickFunnels and all the different technology that is proven that's working right now. We call it high tech, high touch. So it's using the best technology that's available today so that you can spend more of your time in the high touch, which is this, talking to people, connecting with people, developing relationships. And as we both know, that's really where you want to spend as much of your time as possible. So Profit Group is a team that takes that stuff off your shoulders and allows you to focus on your strength and enjoy your business more, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. You get tied down to those little details over and over.
Right. The brain damage, I call it.
Yeah. If people have questions for Travis, go ahead and type them in the questions, or you can jump on. We'll open up the seats open if you want to jump in. And welcome. I see Ted Wasco. How you doing, Ted? And Troy's here.
Ted.
Chuck. Jessica. But tell us about this other new venture you're working at.
You're talking about Epic Men?
Yeah.
Oh, man. So you're letting the cat out of the bag. So I'm super excited about this. So it's called Epic Men, and it's actually a tribe of entrepreneurial guys, guys in sort of the second half, that 45, 47 to say 60, 62, 65 range. So guys that have raised families and guys that have made money and guys that have lost money and, guys that have had their asses handed to them on a platter over the last 6, 7, 8 years through all the crazy stuff that we've been through. What we find is a lot of guys sort of lost their way. And they're just like, man, they're in the fetal position under their desk, still like, honey, help. And what we do is my partner, Tom Twilliger, and I get together and we just share advice and we share coaching. We've got a kick-ass podcast. So 3 episodes a week of just cool new content. Again, we're interviewing you. So we interview top leaders in different areas of business, body, which is the whole physical piece, spirit, a very spiritual aspect, and then also a whole lot of fun and adventure. Because as you know, my lifestyle, again, I'm bringing that in. It's like, guys, we got to have more fun. And one of the things we do is once a quarter mastermind, we all come to about here and we hang out as a group and a tribe. And so it's a lot of fun with that aspect as well. So we're stoked. I've got my partner, Tom Twilliger, maybe you've probably heard of him. Most everybody has. He was Mr. America, physical fitness. So took the national championship. Super famous guy, best-selling author with the 7 Rules of Achievement. So neat guy. He's handling the whole, performance and success coaching and physical fitness and diet, exercise, and all of that. And then what I'm bringing to the table is, the business and tools and scaling and team and automation and, a lot of stuff that we've been talking about, lifestyle business piece. So between the two of us and then the guests that we're bringing on, we're having a lot of fun. So come on over. epicmen.com is the site.
That's important because a lot of us work alone. We're just here all day by ourselves.
Right.
And to have those people you can bounce ideas off of or bond with or pick up the phone and call somebody.
Right.
That's important.
Yeah, exactly. The camaraderie, and guys, it's just it's been tough on us. I mean, for all of us, and just to have that, not only the confidence, but really the clarity. And I went through it myself. I last year, so I had the cancer, 15 years ago, as mentioned, when I went through the surgeries and everything else. It came back this year, actually back in January, and I went through the whole process again. I'm like, so made it 14 years or so. Went in for a routine checkup, a few balls, they took them off, then let me next, and all of a sudden I'm 5 surgeries into it, and CAT scans and MRIs, and getting through all that. But again, it's just the appreciation, going through those challenges and then coming through that other side. And one of the biggest things I'm learning through it from a motivational standpoint is, it's like pulling that arrow back when you're down and you're just like beat up and you can't see straight. You just don't have the clarity. That was the biggest challenge that I had when I went through all this stuff, is I was so dizzy with what's my next step and what should I focus on? And then by not having something to focus on, a business or something that I'm passionate, started affecting the confidence, lower productivity. That affected the business, that affected the income. And it's just like the spiral can happen really fast. And then you're like, dude, how do I get out of this? And your wife's on you, right? Your loved one just hammering on you a bit. And thank God she was, because she helped to get me out of the fetal position, which is where I was with this whole cancer stuff. Because I was so blindsided from my passion for the business, but then coming through that, and then just now just the excitement I have of just being able to work, having the ability just to do this kind of stuff, just to hang out with cool people and serve clients. And, sometimes we take it for granted when we get so busy and life is a little comfortable and we got the income or whatever it is, man, that's the most dangerous spot that I found. Yeah. Right. You just get complacent. You get a little soft. You don't have your morning routine, get up in the morning, man, you got your routine, you do your exercise, you're listening to your motivation, you're meditating, you're doing the stuff to get you into that state. When you're a little soft and things are a little comfy, you don't do that stuff so much. But when you're up against the gun, I got to turn shit around and do it fast, right? Business, income, everything else. You do whatever it takes, and again, that morning routine is critical. So it sharpens that sword. I call it, challenge and being challenged is so critical that we don't see it as a bad thing, and we don't beat ourselves up. And believe me, I went through it with my cancer and income and everything that was affected as a result of that. I'm like, I should be in a different place. The victim, right? Why do I have to go through all this stuff? Why does that have to be a struggle? I'm the good guy, right? Yeah. So it's easy to go through that. But as you come through that, you realize, again, that nobody owes you anything. We are not entitled to anything. And in this world, if you want whatever it is, man, you got to get up and you got to fight sometimes. And you got to get out of that fetal position and get your routines back together, and the camaraderie. Like you said, you're having other people to be like, I'm losing my mind, man. Help. I can't tell my wife this. It would freak her out or whatever. But just having somebody to be able to connect with and share is critical. Highly recommend that to everybody. If you don't have to get it, big difference.
Good stuff. Yeah, I remember working the corporate world. Yeah, you just set the alarm. You'd always sleep past your alarm, hit snooze 10 times because you didn't want to get up and go to work.
Right.
I haven't set an alarm in years.
Right. Exactly.
I just wake up naturally when I wake up and just go into my routine, and I get to work and do my work. And
right. And clearly you love it, and that's, I think, why you've got such a great following is you're just so passionate about what you do. You honed in, you found this little LinkedIn thing. In fact, how did that all come about? Because again, you were doing so many things. How did LinkedIn come about, and what made the decision for you to go so deep with it? Because again, you're as you're so book the whole deal. How did that all come about?
Oh, I actually had the opportunity to write the book with Perry Marshall. Perry wrote The Ultimate Guide to Google AdWords and Ultimate Guide to Facebook Advertising for Entrepreneur Magazine.
Yep.
And he had the 2 best-selling books in entrepreneurs' history. So they said, we want a Twitter book and a LinkedIn book. So he calls me up and says, hey, you want to co-author books with me? It's really amazing. Just out of the blue. I was working a corporate job, actually, at the time.
So that opportunity launched you with Perry Marshall. Because, again, he had the platform. He had the books. He had the following. He had the list. He had done all that work up to that point to build all that. And then, so why would he give you the opportunity? Like, how did you know each other, or what created that bond or that link to get an opportunity like that?
I saw him speak at a Dan Kennedy conference in like 2004. And that's when Google AdWords was just really getting started. And he's teaching this stuff. I go, oh, this is interesting. So I bought his $97 ebook.
Became a customer, right? Gave him money, built a little relationship.
Followed him from that day. I never stopped following him. I've been in a lot of his courses. He just kind of taught me everything I knew about Google AdWords. I was doing that for clients. I got a full-time job doing that after 2008 because my economy tanking.
Right.
But that's when the book deals came on. Then he said, I'm not even on LinkedIn, so I can't put my name on the book. You just write the book.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So you get to be the guru.
Right.
You get to take the platform, the top position behind that brand, because it really is. I mean, it's multi-million-dollar brand.
Yeah. So it was just right place, right time, but I paid my dues. I worked hard with Perry. I got to know him, build a relationship.
Yep.
And then I was still doing all this other stuff. And about 2.5, 3 years ago, I said, I'm going to focus just on LinkedIn because I can't keep up with all this stuff.
Right.
Everything's changing so fast.
Because you got Facebook, Pinterest, all of them. Why LinkedIn?
I saw the biggest opportunity there. I saw that as a high-value network that was underutilized. Where Facebook was more like a playground. It was fun. Wasn't real business-like.
Right.
But I could have really focused on that, too.
Yep.
Could have picked either one, or Twitter, because I wrote the ultimate guide to Twitter for business. But for some reason, LinkedIn just really resonated with me.
And social media. And maybe it's even bigger, deeper than that is, and I think what you're so good at, and really what you share in your power is the art of connection. Like you connect really easily and really well with people. So you develop those types of relationships where people trust you and they know that you work hard, right? And so they want to do deals with you, right? They want to promote you. Perry, I mean, talk about launching your career. That was the first book. Then the second book, and you parlayed it all off of that. Then the coaching programs and.
Yeah, no, it's really about building relationships and building long-term relationships, not just the quick hit. The internet marketers are famous for.
Right.
I want to make sales. I don't want to build relationships.
Right. Exactly.
Remember the first days of internet marketing?
So you started by, and I would recommend this as well, is if you want to get close to somebody, if you want to get close to the guru or something that you really want to develop a relationship in your space, become a customer. Right? Go buy something from them. Let them know, like, hey, I'm in. I'm following you. I'm willing to invest in you. And of course, the higher the levels and the bigger the experience, the closer you're going to get to somebody like that. But they talk about there's really two ways in, right? You can earn your way. I mean, long term and doing all this kind of stuff, which is great. Or you can buy your way in, or a combination of the two. So buying your way in is buy somebody's program, get close to it, go out to an event. Again, without you being at the Dan Kennedy event, you and Perry probably wouldn't have hooked up and had a conversation and had the excitement for you, or knowing like, man, this is a guy I really want to get to know. And then you took the steps long term to get to know him. So being at the event, so being in the game, number one, at the event, have those conversations, and then finding people that you really want to network with, and then right away you bought his product. So all of a sudden you're on the radar. Yeah. Right?
And what's ironic is he wasn't even scheduled to speak at that event. He was a fill-in. Somebody had a family emergency, so he lived in Chicago. So Dan Kennedy called him up and said, hey, Perry, can you fill in? I have a presentation.
He's like, sure. No, I'll do it.
Sure.
No PowerPoint. But that's, again,
exactly
why he's an expert in the industry. And now why you're an expert in the industry.
Yeah.
Powerful.
So I'm wondering if people on the call here, if they have ideas for a lifestyle business, or do they have a lifestyle business and they want to ask you questions. So if you do, you can jump on, or you can ask questions and get some free coaching here.
Awesome. I see we got a ton of people in here. Jessica and Chuck, Bartok.
Everybody has that dream of having their own dream business, but very few people actually take the action to do it.
Cheers. Hey, Steve Peck shared us. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, we all know Steve.
Steve and I grew up in the same town in Pennsylvania, if you believe that.
Is that right?
And we ran into each other about 6 months
Steve,
ago.
jump in here, man. Let's chat.
Yeah.
Come say hi. I see we got Chuck Bartuk. Chuck, come in, say hi.
Yeah, the seat's open if you want to jump on. And Ted's Mr. Hangout. Nobody wants to jump on. So tell us about your business. There we go. Christian has one. What would you suggest for companies launching tech software? Monthly subscription based?
When you say what would you suggest, what aspect? Are you talking about marketing? Are you talking about pricing? Are you talking about developing traffic and building your platform? Maybe a little more specific. And thanks, by the way, for the question.
Yeah, and Christian, also, what's your goal for your lifestyle, too? Are you trying to just grow this business and sell it?
Right.
Okay, marketing is a challenge, building the audience.
Eva, hey, welcome.
So, Christian, I know you want to grow the business. Is your goal to, yeah, okay, you got scaling covered. So you'd like to grow the company and then sell it.
Right.
Or help this company grow and then get out.
Right, so you need traffic, eyeballs, traffic, build your list, build your following. Do you have a podcast? Yeah, good exit strategy, good team. I'd say a couple things. And again, it depends on your market specifically and where they're at. But clearly, podcasting is super hot right now. Another thing is this, video. Clearly, doing these live chats like that you can record and repurpose, and a lot of those webinars. Clearly, and then also once you have some of the foundational issues in place, some of the systems, whether it's your autoresponders, your shopping carts, your funnels. So you clearly got to have all that mapped out. What is your ultimate funnel? Who's your avatar? Map all that out, lay all that in place, and have the team set up for you. Then it's all about, again, the scaling, managing, testing, and tracking, the testing from there. But yeah, podcasting's hot. Video is hot. Repurposing this video. I call it really the 3 B's. If you really want to simplify traffic generation, developing leads, developing prospects, making more sales, the 3 B stands for build it, borrow it, buy it. Build it, borrow it, buy it. So building it is all content marketing. So podcast, blog posts, video, submission services out there. So you don't have to do all this stuff yourself. In fact, very little. You just want to be responsible for most of the content and then have the team be able to set that up and manage that for you. But again, podcast, video, getting that out there is building it, content marketing. Borrowing it is through JVs. So it's working with other service professionals, other people within your space that can get you in front of the right audience. And of course, you set up an affiliate partner program with ClickBank or most shopping carts and Fusion, all that stuff has it all set up in the system. But you would set up tracking and then, again, build a funnel and build a campaign with people that already have an audience of your people. And then the last B is buying it. And that would be through Facebook ads. It would be through LinkedIn paid traffic, Twitter, YouTube. Those are really the 4, of course, Google, that are doing really well. Again, depending on your market and depending on your avatar. So build it, borrow it, buy it. They all have pros and cons. So building it is awesome because it's more of a long-term strategy. Don't go in and think you're going to make a couple blog posts and a couple podcasts and all of a sudden people are going to start buying tons of product. Ain't going to happen. Right? It's more of building your brand as you've done, Ted, with LinkedIn and being, America's LinkedIn coach?
America's leading LinkedIn coach.
America's leading. I knew it was something like that, though. It has something to do with America's best. I knew that. So with content marketing, again, it's great, but it's more long-term strategy. Generating traffic through borrowing it through trade associations is another big one. And then also through others that can get you in front of it. Great because you don't spend a lot of money up front, but you spend on the back when somebody makes a sale. So if you're a little tighter financially getting into a market, JVs, and then if you've got some funding, definitely go directly for paid traffic if you know what you're doing to get that traffic going immediately.
The biggest thing I learned over time is I have tons of content from my books, obviously. Don't just post it once. you need to keep putting it out there over and over and over. A friend of mine actually taught me this. He wrote a book about his daughter was born with Down syndrome, and then at 3 years old, she passed away from leukemia. So he wrote this heartfelt book and put it on a Kindle book. He wrote 300 tweets with excerpts from the book and put it in Hootsuite and rescheduled it every month, 300 tweets.
Yep.
And he drives people to that book on Amazon. He's built this incredible community, and he sells like 100,000 books a year.
Right. Huge. And that's another top strategy right now in terms of repurposing would be to create a podcast, so do an interview like this, and like we're doing a video. But what you do is you take both the video as well as the audio, and most of the software that you use now, or you can use pretty easily, you can strip the audio out of it so that you can repurpose it. So now you can take the video and put that on YouTube and through TubeMogul, and just get that out there, and then have the audio for iTunes and Stitcher through those. So it's repurposing from both sides. One 30-minute session, when you're actually having the conversation, you can take it in both directions. So again, great.
Right. And that's what you do for your customers.
Yep.
So
exactly. Get you out is really the bottom line. It's, allowing you to stick within your strengths, to do the things that you do well and that make you stronger and make you feel more powerful, and, that you just enjoy in your business. And then just get the other stuff off your plate, man. Get the technology and the funnels and the tracking and the split testing and the the brain damage, I like to call it.
Right.
Get that off your plate.
I'll take this video, I'll post it on YouTube. I'll strip out the audio. It'll be a podcast. I'll have it transcribed. You can put up the articles.
Yep.
It's easy to do.
Yep, exactly. Brings up another great point. You said, and as we all know, somebody was saying that it's really challenging marketplace. Who was that? Anyway, it is a challenging marketplace. I mean, there are a lot of people out there now with, there's pros and cons with the ability to have things in systems like Blab, right? I mean, this is powerful stuff to be able to communicate like this in HD, to be able to record it, to share it, going, viral, all of that. There's more people doing it now, right? So the barrier to entry, 5, 6, 8 years ago, it was just the companies with money that could really invest in higher level services, the Flash, these other streaming like this. Now it's everybody on their smartphone. You got a free app, right? I mean, it's everywhere. So the barrier to entry is lower, meaning that more people are doing this, which is great in some respects, yet it makes it more challenging for us as service professionals, as infopreneurs, as consultants, doing what we do in terms of our businesses, selling software, massage, service, whatever it might be, is to stand out above the crowd, right? So it's platform development, developing your platform based on your brand. You've got a fantastic platform. Again, multi-million-dollar brand. So what you do, you honed in on one specific area, and then you just got yourself out there in a big way. There's really 4 different steps that I would recommend. You really want to kind of tie that together. You nailed one of it with frequency, but if you want to develop your platform, and that's about having a bigger reach, a bigger list, bigger following, more engagement, more sales, all of it leads together. So by having a better platform, a bigger platform, there's really 4 different steps. Number 1 is frequency. So like you said, you got to be, once you start, you got to be, you can't go, you got to keep going over and over, go, a couple times a week, maybe a blog post a week, a podcast post a week, repurpose the video. So that the social outlet is getting 2-3 hits a week or more, right, in different ways. So critically important to do that, and then have that frequency within the business, right? So that's number 1 is frequency. Number 2 is consistency. So the key now is not only to do it over and over and over again. Once you start, you make the commitment, and I see this all the time. People, they'll get all excited about a podcast, and they go out and they do the work to get it all set up, and then they put 5 or 6 in the can, and then they go, and then it just kind of like goes down. They're like, oh man, this commitment consistently, it's work. It's a commitment. So before you even go into it, make the commitment that, man, you're going to do it. And you're going to do it for 90 days or whatever the timeline is, but going into it, because not only over and over and over again, you got to stay consistent so you don't come in and then you drop out. Whereas do that alone, those 2 is going to put you head and shoulders above competition out there. Step number 3 then is tangibility. So being tangible. So it's, a podcast audio that they could download. It would be a ebook, a white paper, something that's tangible. Because they say that published authors, as you know, being a published author, you have over a 300 to 400% greater credibility rating than people that are not published. So people just assume, Ted, man, you wrote this book. You are the guru in this space is the assumption. You could have ghostwritten it. Who knows? Right?
Yeah.
A lot of people do. So it's just about the perception of that credibility of being an author, being a published author. But the thing is now is with all of this content, you could repurpose this just as long as it has that tangible feel so people can see you and they can hear you and they're connecting with you. That will step you up there in that credibility rating, just like being a published author, right? And then step number 4 is visibility. So you've got to be everywhere. Having a team. You can't do it yourself. There's just too much to do to, even if you're using Hootsuite or some of these softwares out there, which we do and the team uses, there's some strategy to be able to keep it consistent where you're consistent, tangible, and visible so that people see you and then they start like, wow, making that connection. That's something that you're the LinkedIn guru.
Yeah. It's pretty cool when people say, God, I see you everywhere.
Exactly. Exactly.
Stuff works.
Perry Marshall. I mean, you look at the top leaders, the guys that are making millions. Brandon Burchard. You know the names.
Yeah.
It's all about their platform.
Yeah, you have to have that plan, the strategy. You know where you're going. Your message has to be clear.
Right.
As a Perry said, just call yourself America's leading LinkedIn coach. I'm like, I can't do that. Like, why not? Nobody else is doing it.
He says, it's good enough for me. It's good enough for you. Let's just say it.
Right.
Call it.
It took me a long time to actually do that. But once I did it, things just took off.
And why did it take you a long time to actually do that? Was it a confidence thing? Like you didn't feel like you're up to that title, for instance?
But I felt like, oh no, I've got to be like making more than all the other LinkedIn experts, or I got to sell more books.
So there's more money and more book sales, more popular.
Yeah.
Better platform.
It was all in my head.
Right. Because when you finally said it, this is your title, and obviously you got to have some experience behind it. So you're walking your talk. This is a challenge I see in the industry now too. Coaches, they're started to have no clue or like putting these titles on themselves. It's like, whoa. So clearly you need to walk your talk, as you do. But the difference of when you did put that label out there, you put that brand out there, that's who you became. Now, that was just the perception and the assumption that people had. And then when they heard your content, because your frequency, consistency, tangibility, visibility, you're out there, they just assume like, God, this guy's everywhere. He is America's leading LinkedIn coach.
But even my first edition of the LinkedIn book, it was a best-selling book and it won an award. I still didn't feel comfortable saying I'm the best. I'm just that kind of guy.
I know.
Can't
it feels a little
myself.
like, yeah, right. But it brings up a great point is, it's got to work for you. Everybody listening in and you're not sure what your title is or your role or how to position yourself. It's a branding thing. Right. Again, what voice do you want to have in the market? How do you want people to see you? How do they want to connect with you? Of course, it's all about the story. Right? That's a big, big piece. So if you're out speaking, if you're doing webinars, you're doing blabs, whatever it might be, all of us, we all have to have a really compelling story. And typically what works really well is when you share the realities, when you're transparent about when you've had your ass kicked, right? And what you learned from it. So that it's like, yeah, I'm this guru, but man, I've never made mistakes, or I've never had hard times, or I've never. And so when I started sharing this, coming out and been like, I had cancer, I went bankrupt, all these things. I just put it out there being honest. All of a sudden people are like, they can relax a little bit too.
Right.
And I'm more approachable, more real. We're just all here hanging out. And of course, that's who people want to do business with, is people that they feel they have a connection with.
Exactly.
Story. Really, really important, you guys, to get your stories down if you don't have that. Coming into the new year here is critical aspect.
So do you run Facebook ads at all?
There a question, let's see.
Yep. Do we run Facebook ads?
We do. Yep, we do. And that's T Brooks. What's up, T? We do. So Profit Groove, we run Facebook ads. We put together the creative, the strategy, the targeting. Our team has been trained on the digital marketer certification training, the paid Facebook training. So they've been through all of that and all dialed in. So we've got the strategy that handles, or the strategist here in the States that does that. And then we've got a team that puts it all together for you. So yes, we can help you.
No, I run them too. I do. When I connect with someone on LinkedIn, I send them a welcome message, and then I have a web page that I send them to learn more about me.
Right.
Then have a little Facebook pixel there and a Google pixel, so I can run Google and Facebook ads very cheaply to them.
Oh God, it's just the modern miracle, man. I tell you, you guys, if you're not running Facebook ads, you absolutely need to be running Facebook ads for most all avatars. Not for all avatars, but for most all avatars, with the ability to be able to target, to really go through when you know what you're doing. Clearly, you need to know what you're doing. So you want to work with people who know what they're doing. And there are a lot of people that don't. So be careful.
Right.
Once you put together your strategy, your campaign, it's just like your Ted, is called retargeting, right? Building customized audiences or custom lists. And what a lot of the gurus are talking about now is, rather than going in and saying, hey, here's my sales page, right? I click directly to the sales page. You can do that if you need leads immediately into more of a funnel, a webinar or something along those lines. I wouldn't take them directly to a sales page really ever. But not only that, but as Ted, what you're doing is creating providing open content. So your blog posts, podcast posts, so it's just good content. And what you do is you put a pixel on it through Facebook, and then you send people to that. When they click on and they're reading all about you and connecting with you, that frequency, consistency, tangibility, now they've seen you, and now we're building a list. It's like old school email lists. Remember how awesome email lists used to be when they actually were responsive? Go back in the day. This is like the new era of email lists, because we're building all this within Facebook. And of course, everybody's on Facebook. That's where the eyeballs are right now. So you can build that list, and then you can continue to send them more content. You can see how many times they're reading your stuff. Then you send them to a webinar when you're ready for an offer, right? Coaching program, whatever it is. So you're nurturing those relationships and developing over time. It's, digital market. I was at their event last year, and they were talking about this is the year of setting the pixel. Remember they were talking about that? And and they're spending millions of dollars, millions and millions. And what that means is, again, the people that you're going out and getting in front of, that you're targeting, and you're giving them open content so they don't have to opt in. So you can get a lot more people to look at a blog post if they don't have to opt in to get it, right? Yeah. But what we're doing is building that list on the back end, setting that pixel so that you can come back and you can retarget now your own private list at a much lower cost and get a much higher ROI. So
it's so targeted.
Miracle, right? I mean, you can imagine this.
You know exactly what their interest is. Like, these people drink Coke, these people drink Pepsi, these people drink 7-Up, these people drink water.
Exactly. So I'm going to sell these people 7-Up. I'm going to sell these people water. I got 2 different landing pages. I mean, amazing what can happen right now.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds complicated, but it's, we do this for a living, but it's great to have people like you that just do it.
Right. Right. Exactly. Get out of the brain damage, man. Leave that to the pro.
So if anybody wants to jump in and ask questions, there's an open seat here, or type in questions, or this is great. Just hanging out with you.
Did we miss any? Let's go back. Splitting the audience video. Cool. Petro. Free.
So what do you have planned for this afternoon? A little walk out in the snow? And
yeah, man. Yep, had the dog walk. The first thing in the morning was gorgeous. A little crisp morning, 24. But it looks like the sun's coming out a little bit today, and have a little reprieve, and then it's the hammer for the next 2 or 3 days. And then, like I say, our ski mountain opens on next Thursday. So, we've had over 4 feet of snow just in November. So we've got a good early season for us, as we're pretty pumped.
That's amazing.
We'll see. This is an El Nino year, so we're keeping our fingers crossed, because you never really know what that means. Typically for us, though, in terms of the jet streams, our biggest years have come on El Nino years, at least over the last 20 years. So we average above 350 inches of snow on an annual basis for the winter. So plenty of powder skiing up there.
Nice.
You going to come out and ski with me this year, man?
I think I will.
You know, just keep it on.
Squeeze it in there.
Keep following the patterns online and jump on a plane. You know, it's a cake.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Yeah. No, anybody have any more questions, feel free. Kind of how to get your marketing going, how to outsource. The content is huge, though. Just repurposing that content. You don't have to write everything new every time. Just take what you have. You can update it, put it in a different format.
Yep. Exactly.
When people want to read.
The key, though, I think behind that is sometimes it sounds easier than it really is. I mean, if it's not your thing, you know, if you're not technical, you're not into it, or, you know, it's not your thing, I would highly recommend this being one of the first things that you want to outsource and get this off your plate, because it's really easy, as you know, to get buried into this. So all of a sudden, you know, you spend like 3 hours of your day working on editing on a podcast or whatever it might be. It's like, you know, that was an expensive 3 hours for you. You know, there's a training I've got. I'll just give you the abbreviated version, but it's called the Money Hat. The Money Hat. And what that really means is it's all about in terms of being productive or your productivity throughout the day. But there's two different people, right? So there's a entrepreneur that earns, let's say, $100 an hour, right? And then we've got another entrepreneur that earns $10,000 an hour. So what's the difference between the two? You know, on the one that earns $100 an hour versus $10,000 an hour, it all comes back to how they're spending their time during the day, right? We've got those same 24 hours, so we've got those finite resources within those 24 hours. So you know the difference in the disparity of income. It all is about leverage, scaling time, clearly having around you that can allow you to do the stuff that where you're going to earn that top dollar: coaching, consulting, leading a group, doing it in-house. I mean, you think of the stuff where you're earning. I know for you, you do really well when you're speaking to a stage, right? When you're in front of a room and then everyone runs back of the room to buy your home study courses and your program, your coaching. Pretty good use of your time in that hour. So what we need to do is spend more time setting more of that up and doing more of that, because it's $10,000 an hour versus $100 an hour, or even $10 an hour. Because even with, say, $10 an hour, 20, or even $30 an hour, you can hire people, of course, to do your Facebook ads, to set up your WordPress sites, to set up your lead pages, your ClickFunnels, or autoresponders, or technology, or traffic, or all the stuff that has to be done. If you're trying to manage that, or number one, if you're trying to understand it, get your head around all that, stop the madness right now, because there's just so much and it's moving so fast. You know, if it's not your thing, and if you're not a marketing consultant or coach, or, you know, in that space, don't even try and go there. You just want to know the basics. You know, I need a webinar, right? Don't even worry about how to put it all together, what software to use. Just like, I need a webinar. And then have a team, of course, that could support you with all of that is really, really critical.
Like, I focus on writing content and keeping up with LinkedIn and interpreting that and how to use it.
Right. Exactly. You got your clients counting on you, right? So you got to be on the constant, the cutting edge. The only way to do that is to have the time and the space to do that, and not to be buried because you're like, I'd like to get back to that. So learn the latest, greatest tip to have a webinar to teach my people, or I'm going to update this logo, or I'm going to put on this WordPress. What's the most important use of your time?
Or there was an update on my website and now something doesn't work, or something changed.
Man. Exactly.
It's
and the
crazy.
Security issues, WordPress sites. Definitely, guys, here's a quick tip. Because most all of us are using WordPress of one sort or another, I would highly recommend getting a program called Security. Security, it's a little plugin that you can put in your WordPress site, but it'll secure the site and really lock it down. There's so much spam going on right now, and there's so many hackers out there right now just going absolutely nuts. We've seen it, we've experienced it, but if you can be proactive, security, it's really inexpensive. Just Google it. And certainly we could help you with that. Or if you have another team or a VA, have them download that plugin on your WordPress.
How do you spell that?
You did. SECURI, I believe. Security.
Yeah, I think that's how it is. Yeah.
SECURI.
Yeah.
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 And could I ask a LinkedIn question? Sure. What's your LinkedIn question? And you can jump on if you want. We don't bite.
Come hang out with us, guys. Nobody's like scared. You guys are all, what? Come on in and say hey. We won't bite, we promise.
So you use Autopilot for LinkedIn. Yeah, I know Autopilot for LinkedIn. It lets you automate your profile views.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thanks for posting that too, Christian, the security plugin. The thing you have to watch out for, there's a lot of tools out there for LinkedIn. You can automate messaging, and now LinkedIn cut off the messages to groups. You're only allowed 15 a month now instead of unlimited, where people would just open up the fire hose and blast messages to people. LinkedIn's cracked down on that, and they're starting to crack down on these automated profile views. I actually had one client contact me recently, and they bought a product. It wasn't the Autopilot, it was a different one. And they like turned it on and just put it max. And LinkedIn obviously saw all of a sudden these profile views went from like 2 a day to 1,000 a day. And they actually sent them a message with a screenshot of here's all the activity we've seen on your account. So they knew something was up. They're monitoring that. LinkedIn's really trying to keep the network pure and keep it spam free.
Keep it clean. You know, such a great network and such a great place for all of us is, man, let's just keep it clean. You don't, take your time as you teach, do it the right way.
I played around with some of these tools thinking, let me test this out.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just scared to death because if I get shut down, it wouldn't be good.
I think it might hurt the brand.
Yeah, exactly. Because they do just shut you down too. If they don't give you any warning, they don't reach out and say, hey, we noticed some suspicious activity in your account. They just pull the plug, and then you have to contact them and beg for forgiveness. So be careful.
Yeah. Facebook too.
Yeah, everything. I think Google.
Ads, trying to get too aggressive with that is, definitely need to know what you're doing with both.
Christian, stupidity tax. That's exactly. Trying to cut the shortcut. It's kind of like going to a networking event and you're just dying to make a sale to somebody instead of just taking time to get to know people.
Right.
Just take your time, build long-term relationships, and you'll have more business than you can handle over time.
Right.
Same with Google, the SEO tricks people used to do. Companies got their websites shut down.
Right. Don't be desperate.
Yeah.
Don't be desperate. If you got to go to a part-time job or whatever it is to build this up and to do it the right way, then do that. That's what I'd say.
Christian says, please don't sound desperate. Get to work. That's exactly it.
That's what I'm talking about. Hustle.
Focus on helping people out.
Yep.
That's what I do on LinkedIn, and the response is great. I send them, little messages with some tips. If I notice somebody's profile that I just connected with, I say, hey, you may want to change this.
Right.
They'll give a better first impression. They're like, oh, thank you very much.
I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, I had no idea. So, well, any other questions here? No? So, Travis, how do people get a hold of you?
Right on. So would love to connect with you guys. If you benefited from today, if you feel like maybe you learned something and really want to take that business to the next level, you really want to put together the marketing funnels and the plan and really the blueprint. Because before you start building stuff, definitely want to make sure you got your plan in place. Know what you're going to be building. It's like building a house. We would never imagine walking up to an open lot with a toolbox and some hammers and a board and some nails and just start knocking away without a plan. So clearly need to have your plan. We can support you with that. That's when we begin the process if you decide to connect with us. But what we'll do is we get to know you, get to explain a little bit more about what we do, more importantly, what you're doing and what you want or what you need support with. And then based on that, we've got the team that does the implementation for you. So that would be, all the funnels, so on and so forth. But to find us, we're at Profit Groove. So it's PROFIT, Profit Groove, GROOVE.com, profitgroove.com. And we've got a little webinar you can check out over there and so on and so forth. But if you're interested, just set up a free strategy session and we'll get together personally and we'll chat a little bit about your business, what you're up to, and how we can support and how we can serve you in moving that business forward.
There, I just put the link in there for you. Yeah. So I've worked with you. Now I have a full-time person that does all this stuff for me.
I know, right?
Got to that point.
How awesome is that?
Yeah. So it works out. But, well, thanks for your time. And guys, definitely do the strategy session at least with Travis.
Yeah. Love to chat with you. Love to connect with you and hear what you're up to and see how we might be able to support you. But Ted, this was fun, man. Like I said, this is my first blab. I think I'm going to do
You're
more.
no longer a blab virgin.
Right? I mean, it's fun. We got cool people like hanging out, taking time out of their busy schedules. That alone is like, thank you, love you, appreciate you.
So, yeah. Well, thanks for joining me, and we'll be in touch.
All right, sounds great.
Thanks, everybody.
Peace.